Look, firstly, well done and congratulations to everybody that's made it thus far. It's a wee bit of a journey to even get this far. It'll be an even bigger journey to get to the start line, and then it'll be an even bigger journey to get to the finish line. So just want to say a huge congrats to everybody getting this far. So what we're going to do is we kind of do this every year, and we have like 3 webinars, and this is the first of 3. This one just concentrates on all things runners. The next one's about this one's about the race rules, and then the next one's about the runners, and then the last one we actually do is about the support crew and any kind of considerations around that. So let me just kick off by doing an acknowledgement of country, just acknowledging this brilliant country that we all live in. Especially want to acknowledge the traditional owners of the various lands in which we're located this evening, and a special mention to the lands in which we run the Coast To Kosci. That's the people of the Yuin and the people of the Ngarigo. Just pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging, and then to celebrate the diversity of Aboriginal peoples and their ongoing cultures and connections to the lands, the mountains and the waters of Australia. So what I'll do is I'll just try and share this presentation. Make sure you can get it. Everyone see that? Okay. Just a nods ahead, yeah? All good. Sorry, let me just see what Mr. Wallace is actually saying. All right, Julie's let him in. So, Greg, you're with us? Greg, you with us? Just let these people in. Greg, are you with us? Hopefully, yes, right. So, race schedule. As I mentioned earlier, we've got 3 webinars which we do prior to the race. And it's really to get you across what you're letting yourself in for. And importantly, what your support crew, just you laying your expectations down with respect to your support crew and what you need from them. We've got a mandatory pre-race briefing that happens on the Wednesday before the race. Thursday you check in. Friday we kick off. There's a few cut-offs, sorry. And then we've got the kind of make it that far on the Sunday. So it's a pretty full-on weekend. Just let a few more people in.
Hey, Mickey, I've just joined.
Hey, there you are. Good man.
Tech gods were not smiling on me this evening.
Good man. You're here now. That's what matters. So the race schedule is available on the website, but the website is down at the moment. Talk about technical gods smiling on us. It's not happened in a few years, but our website is down at the moment. So once it kind of emerges from the wilderness and manages to get back online, then you can check out the race schedule there. Greg, I'll hand over to you to just give us a little bit of a brief history, if that's okay.
Okay, thanks, Mickey, and again, apologies, guys. My access issues this evening with my laptop and the website are not connected in any way. Digital Pacific, who host our site, are down. They've got a number of servers down. Mickey might have already said that to you. So the brief history: 2004, Paul Levery and some other younger runners at the time, it's quite some years ago now, had always looked at determining whether an event like this was possible. Badwater was their Spartathlon, and to some degree, this event's loosely modelled on Spartathlon. and looked for a route to take something really iconic in Australia, and ideally somewhere from sea to summit. Um, they worked out a location which actually ends up following quite close to a traditional Aboriginal trading path and a route of about 240k, which is the distance they're looking for, from Eden, or just south of Eden, through the back roads and the hinterland, up onto the Monaro Plains, through to Jindabyne, and then straight up to the summit. They did a year or two of unofficial events. For those of you crewing who like all mod cons, Paul's partner Diane, she crewed out the back of a VW Beetle. So it was quite interesting. And Paul actually finished and went back and did I think it was a half Ironman or a sprint distance Ironman in Canberra the next day. And when he was actually, he got a phone call just after he finished saying Jan Herman had just reached the summit. Um, it was unofficial for the first couple of years. Then in 2007 was the first official event. It ran for a number of years through to 2018, just shy of the 2018 event. Unfortunately, there were a number of issues and challenges very late, a couple of weeks out from the race, and the event then ceased. Mickey and myself, in conversations with Paul and Diane, then picked up the event, and we started again in 2020, and probably put a little bit of a different shape to the event. Through a number of years, Coast To Kosci was, while it had that very small family feel, it was sort of almost below the radar, a little bit old school in some ways, which was lovely at the time. But as an event evolves, you need to be more professional, have another number of other enhancements to the event to make it not just more attractive to competitors, but also better coverage and all those sorts of things. So Vicky and I have had the event now for 5 years. This is our sixth race. We continue to strive to keep that small family feel to it, but also look to contemporize the event. Now, as a small event, that also comes with some challenges around it. But the core race has never deviated in terms of the intended feel and style of the event. And also the route, other than 1 or 2 years when it was forced changes due to roadworks and other things, the core route has never really changed. So this is the same route as that original first time in 2004, I should say. And since that time, we've had a large number of people go through, not a massive number, but a large number of people go through, and had some multiple finishes. And we're really pleased that a number of those people do apply to come back and meet their qualifiers. But also similarly, we're really thrilled this year that we have a large number of newcomers to the event. It's been great for Mickey and myself to sort of rebirth the race and to be able to offer the experience that is Coast To Kosciuszko to a whole new group of runners. So it's an event that's been running for some time, a little bit of a hiatus, but again, it's a magic event. Mickey?
Brilliant, Greg. Thanks for that. So this year's race, when we kind of do a bit of a breakdown of all the runners who applied and then were accepted, yeah, you can see that New South Wales, historically, it's always had the most number of entrants, and 41 this year. ACT's a wee bit down from last year. We had 8 last year, we get 4 this year. But Queensland, there must have been a little bit of a chinwag happening around Queensland, because we've seen an unprecedented list of actual people coming through from Queensland. And then we've got South Australia's 1, Victoria and WA, they share a 4. And then we've got one international athlete. She's applied from Poland. So Patricia, I don't know if I've spelt your name or said your name right, but welcome, Patricia, all the way from Poland to do the race, which is absolutely brilliant. When we look at the way we kind of, everybody identifies himself either as a male or a female. I should start with that. But the females are on the low side. They're a bit down from last year. And I mean, we try and, do everything we can to kind of balance it out. We kind of do even a little bit of positive discrimination against females, but still the number remains around about the 20-25 mark. So yeah, we've almost got we've got double the amount of males to females. But on a kind of better note, and Greg alluded to it, basically this year we've got 40 people doing it for the first time, and we'll get 32 people returning to do it. For a few more times, and I'll kind of go through like the breakdown of that. But in terms of age groups, you can see that 35 to 39, that's where the majority of our runners are. But there's also quite a number of like those guys that have passed a half century. And on the kind of left-hand side, we'll get 20 to 24. We've actually got 3 people. So we're actually going to have our youngest runner this year, which is fantastic. And then we're also going to have our oldest runner. And coincidentally, Pam, who I think is 65 when the is, she's gone for her 10th finish, which is amazing. So all the best with that, Pam. 64 is our 15-time finish. Sorry, I'm kind of raising you to different levels altogether here, Kevin. Kevin Brick Heaton, this will be his 15th Coast to Kosci and hopefully his 15th finish. So you can see that there's quite a few who have actually like done it before, 32 in actual fact, and then like those that have done it one time, once have actually like number 10, and then those that have done it a couple of times, number 12. So there's quite a good kind of spread of those people that have finished, and there's a good spread of the actual age groups as well. So bring on 2025 Coast to Kosci. Greg?
Okay. Thanks, guys. A couple of key elements. A very core part of our race, our values, which is around community, humility, and resilience. And by community, we mean the community of runners that extends out to our support crews. And I talked about that family feel. We also go through a number of small communities who, for those new to the race, you'll be surprised perhaps at the size or lack of size of those communities, but rest assured all those areas and very small hamlets know that we're coming through. It's really important that we have their support ongoing to use their local roads as well as approvals by the relevant councils, etc. So those communities are actually quite important to us, and some of those communities are the communities of Cathcart, communities of Toowoomba, communities of Dalgety, and also Jindabyne and Bibbulunuk, and there's other places in between as well. But we appreciate their support. So it's really important that we all bring a strong sense of community to the event. Another element is around humility. You should get a feel for the race and the feel from our communications that we do support runners. It's all about, for us, it's actually all about the runners, but doing it in a way which respects everybody across the field. We're certainly not a brash, trash talking, chest thumping type of organisation. We are, again, very much anchored in the humility that running such a long distance and participating in such an event brings a lot of humility from the first place finisher through to the last place finisher. And the last is that around resilience. It obviously takes a lot of resilience to get to the finish line. And indeed, for those who do finish early, the resilience that is shown by those mid to back markers to plough on into the second night with everything the event throws at them is fantastic. And we do look to celebrate all finishers. So our real core values around community, humility, and resilience, and we would like all runners to adhere to those values. 2 other principles that are really important. Runner safety is above all everything else for us. It is so important while we're going through these rules. Don't think of them as inhibitors. They're there to support you, and they're there to support your support crews so that you and your support crews all go home to your family and friends. Indeed, a number of you will have family and friends with you, but you all go home safely to your family and friends, and there are no issues. To date, touch wood, fingers crossed, all those things, we've not had any material safety issues, and we certainly want to keep that going. And that, again, enables the event to continue in future years. So everything we do, always think of it, we're doing it from a safety perspective, all right? Be smart, make smart decisions, be it in the run up to the event, be it in the middle of the night on the way to Dalgety, in liaising with your crews, in going up to the summit and back. Always make smart decisions. You lose nothing in our eyes if you make a smart decision, even if that is perhaps slows you down, causes a rest, in some cases pulling out. It doesn't matter. It's about making a smart decision, which is best for you. Again, your safety and your own health. Thanks, Mickey.
So a few things that's just kind of worth mentioning. The race rules, by the way, are available on the website. But just a few things to just to emphasize more than anything else. So historically, the event's always kicked off usually in the first weekend in December. But for the past couple of years, and 2 years before that, we've actually ran it mid-November. It just seems to be working out as a better date. So I think all things considered, we're going to try and stick with that date. We'll see how this year goes, but yeah, we're thinking of actually just revamping the event and hosting it every mid-November. As Greg mentioned about the course, there was a couple of occasions where we had, it's called Big Jack Mountain, we had that closed. We had to put in a deviation, an alternate route that took us up a place called Cow Bale Trail. But that was a couple of years ago. They've fixed the road, Big Jack Mountain Road. And as far as we're concerned, as things stands just now, there are no course deviations in place. Greg and myself will get down there within the next 4 weeks just to do like a recce and make sure that the course is up to scratch. There's no problems with it, and then we'll report back. But as things stands just now, no deviations to the original course. We keep on getting questions around high-vis vests. And what we want to do is just basically summarize it. So for runners and pacers, it's compulsory after checkpoint 4. So that's roughly at the 106k mark. Before that, it's basically up to you. But we're saying for runners and pacers, after checkpoint 4, you need to wear your high-vis vest. And then for support crews, all times, you need to have it on at all times. There's a bit in the course, roughly at the 82-kilometre mark, where we crossed the Monaro Highway. And it's basically the only main road, apart from really at the start, where we actually cross a main highway. Now, it's really important that you cross the actual bridge before you cross the Monaro Highway. You run up that on your right-hand side. We've had people kind of cross the bridge before they come over the bridge. And what we need is for people to cross the bridge on the right-hand side, go to the race officials, and then cross the Monaro Highway there. All kind of binds into, that runner safety. So again, just emphasising that point. And hopefully by doing it at this early juncture, it'll be kind of stuck in your mind and you'll remember it. Keep on getting questions about earphones and headphones. At this time, we have to put in a hell of a lot of approvals. And one thing that the police do with their approval is they basically say you need to keep your ears open and not have anything, blocking them. So what we do is we allow jawbone headphones, which, if you wear them, you can kind of hear the ambient noise, depends on how loud they are, but, you can hear the ambient noise. So we permit those, but earphones, headphones, definitely prohibited. And if we don't do that, then we run eye of the police, and we don't want to do that. Don't want to jeopardize any kind of future races. And trackers. So we've run these for a few years now, and what we want to do is make those armchair fans and your family and your friends, give them a pleasurable experience by just watching your dot moving along the route, along the way. So the tracker, it's the size of a small matchbox. And what we ask you is just, you and your crew, we ask you to actually make sure that, their operation is ongoing, and we ask for their timely and safe return because they do cost a wee bit of money. But at the end of the day, then people can actually see how you're traveling from home. There's no toilets at Boydtown Beach, so anything you need to do, make sure you do it in your accommodation beforehand, please. There's a thing that we insist upon, and it's mandatory gear. Anybody familiar with mountains will know how changeable and how rapidly changeable the weather is. So we insist on people carrying mandatory gear. We check that. All the race officials check your gear, and you can't share anything. I mean, I've been maybe touting that in the past, where I would just kind of like borrow somebody's, gear. But it's really important because the weather does change so quickly and so rapidly. And, I've been up there when it's been lightning, and it's not a pleasant experience at all. So you really need to have that mandatory gear, and it's just to cater for all that different weather that you face on the mountain. Our National Parks Wildlife Services approval is conditional on making sure that nobody stands on top of the cairn on the summit of Mount Kosciuszko. They've just built a new path up there. They've built a new cairn. It's been there for about a year. It's been struck a couple of times with lightning since then, but aside from that, it's actually looking still pretty schmick, and so we ask people not to stand atop it. Charlotte Pass, when you get up there, you really need to have a look at just making sure you're considerate in terms of your parking. You can park all the way down the mountain. I know it's a wee bit of hike back up to Charlotte Pass, but just make sure that you are just conscious of where you park. And again, our permit with the National Parks and Wildlife Services is very much dependent on that. Just bear in mind that having, went through, for some people, it's going to be like 40 plus hours, that you do designate a driver to drive you back down the mountain. It's about a 40-minute drive back down to Jindabyne. So just make sure somebody's fresh, alert, and can, handle that journey back down off the mountain. And then last thing, and we kind of find this happens every year. And as Greg said, we don't want the rules to be an inhibitor. And they're really there for your benefit and for everybody's benefit. And it more or less guarantees the continual running of the actual Coast To Kosci ultramarathon. But we want you to impress upon your actual support crew that those guys are typically the ones that break the race rules. So it's really important that they read the race rules, they're familiar with it, and then they adhere to them. Very, very rarely do we actually see runners contravening the race rules. It's nearly always the support crew. So just something to emphasize again, and make sure your support crew at the end of the day don't kind of inhibit your performance. Greg?
Thanks, Mickey. Some of the key points for runners, and probably just to follow on from Mickey, the safety aspect. If you think of once you get past 100k, you're on bitumen road. That speed limit is 100k, and the people coming through those areas are on sealed roads are doing 100k. You will probably see them well before they see you. And again, it's all about visibility to those drivers, particularly at night. And some of those drivers also include log trucks and cattle trucks during the day on some of the dirt roads. So most of the elements around a lot of the rules about where you stop, about where your crews stop, what you're wearing are all designed for your safety so that a vehicle coming around a corner doing 100 or perhaps 100 plus, and you're literally just over that crest, they're able to see you early and adapt to it. So that is a core element of a lot of the rules. It's those sorts of things. So runners, you must have a dedicated support crew and vehicle. All right. Now, we recommend four-wheel drive. We don't mandate, but we strongly recommend four-wheel drive, and we have had flooded creek crossings and other things and needed to deviate vehicles in the past. So we strongly recommend four-wheel drives. Firstly, you must have a dedicated support crew. That cannot be one person, it needs to be more than one person. We strongly also recommend with your support crew, you have not just helpers, but those people are taking responsibility for you to some degree. You know, people who can get you out of holes when you're in them, mentally and or physically. Ideally, you should have someone with some first aid experience, as well as obviously those aspects around nutrition and navigation, all those sorts of things, but take someone experienced. The support crew, the longer the event goes, the support crew run you, and they need to be able to get you to the finish line, patch you up, and get you back out there. At all times, you run on the right-hand side of the road facing the oncoming traffic. Okay? Not in the middle of the road, not on the left. You run on the right-hand side of the road. There are two exceptions to that. One is up Big Jack Mountain Road. The simple fact it's a windy dirt road that goes for a few Ks with blind corners, and we want you to be on the side on the left-hand side. Similarly, up Blocker Range, which is about 10, 15K on the Jindabyne side of Dalgety. Similarly, it's a steep, narrow during daylight, looks okay at night, but narrow during daylight, Bitumen Road. We want you to be on the left. Again, vehicles traveling at speed on a narrow up or downhill road. It's important that you're out of their way. So again, run on the right-hand side of the road, except those two locations. All right. Yeah, race number has to be worn and visible at all times. In addition to your race number, you will also receive a sticker for your vehicle, which has your race number on it. That needs to be very visible on your vehicle, and you'll receive separate instructions about that race registration in your kit bag. Your rear flashing light must be worn and visible at all times. A number of people either also use effectively a bike flashing light just attached to their shorts, or some other red light that flashes. Now, you've got to remember battery life needs to be rechargeable and needs to be able to last up to 46 hours. All right. We don't want the instance where we're coming up behind runners, their light expired or went flat, 3 hours ago. It's up to the support crew. Again, you have to think of vehicles traveling at speed at night on a dark road. Yes, you should have high vis on past 106K, but again, they'll see the flashing light. It's about visibility and making sure you are visible. All right. Your race tracker has to be worn at all times. It's about the size of a matchbox. Can fit in a small pocket in your running shorts, or if in a vest, or if whatever you're wearing, but it needs to be on you at all times. Your high vis reflective vest has to adhere to Australian standards. Okay. If it doesn't adhere to Australian standards, you can't wear it. It has to be worn after checkpoint 4. That includes also your pacers and also anyone who goes up to the summit with you. Checkpoint 4 is at Gunning Rack Road and Snowy River Way. It's a T junction and the last piece of dirt road. It's at 106 kilometres, and from there it's a bitumen road for the remaining 134 kilometres other than the summit track. You need to wear the high vis reflective vest. Again, you're on country B roads where vehicles will be travelling at 100 kilometres or more. They need to see you and see your pacer. Headlamp must be worn at night, goes without saying. While the skies out on the Monaro Plains are absolutely stunning, if you get the chance, do look up and at them, but you cannot run without a headlamp and just go by moonlight. Again, it's about visibility. The mandatory gear, it is required for the summit and return, and you will not be allowed to go to the summit until it's been checked and approved. Um, uh, t- to assist you, though, however, as you approach Charlotte Pass, it is fine for your support crew to go ahead, have your mandatory gear approved, their mandatory gear approved against a checklist, so that when they get there, you can go straight through. All right. But you are not able to go up to the summit until mandatory gear has been visibly cited by the officials. And while we trust you that the muesli bars are in the bag, and we trust you that the hive is the additional buff or wet weather pants is in the bag, we need to see that. All right. Again, there's just too much, and you're probably aware from the race history, we've had two events where we've closed the mountain where it's closed in and the weather's been absolutely atrocious. That's when you need your mandatory gear. You can rest or shelter in your support vehicle, have a kip if you want. Some people do that, but it has to be pulled over on the side. You have to make your own way to it, make your own way from it. And you can sleep in there if you wish to. That's totally up to you, as long as the vehicle does not proceed further along the race route. If there is any deviation, that can only be approved by race officials. For example, you're advising you're going ahead to go off course, withdrawing, going to hospital or something along those lines. Um, thank you, Mickey. Next point. If you retire or withdraw, that's it. You're not able to rejoin the race. If you wish to spectate, come up the summit, you're more than welcome. We still love to have you as part of the race, but you can't withdraw and then decide you want to restart again. And importantly, again, for visibility and thinking of cars traveling at high speed at night towards you, if running in groups. It's great if you're together with a couple of other runners, but we really want no more than two abreast. If you're on your own, that can be you and your pacer. But when traffic approaches you, please move to single file. Right? Again, narrow roads, vehicles coming to you at high speed. It's not about you, it's about them making sure they can see you.
Thanks, Greg. Here's the cut-off times. This year we've introduced a new cut-off at Cathcart General Store. So basically 70 kilometres in, after 12 hours, then there's a cut-off that is now applicable. So that's basically Friday at 5:30. And then we've got the other ones that kind of kick in. Those have been there for quite a while. But they're all designed and geared towards you finishing. And it's a 46-hour race. That's what the eventual cut-off is. So all the cut-offs are basically in there to actually make sure that the final cut-off of 46 hours, then you basically abide by. Both us two and then the race officials, we can, what we're going to have to do is, it's really again for safety, and we can't have the race completely spread out. So that's another reason why the cut-offs are in there. So we're going to have to withdraw you from the race should those cut-off times not be made. And as we've kind of always said, no appeals can be made around that. Greg?
Thanks, Mickey. And look, if you do look at the cutoffs are relatively generous. Okay, with that. Paces. A couple of things with paces. Paces are permitted from 8:30 on Friday, 14 November. All right. 15 hours after race start. If we elect to change that, we will advise that via WhatsApp to the crew chiefs. For example, if it's stormy weather and it's got quite dark quite early, all right, we may elect to change that, but the minimum will be from 8:30 on the Friday evening. Pacer can then be with you for the whole time. All right. Earlier in the day, Big Jack Mountain Road, a pacer is mandatory to ascend Big Jack Mountain Road. All right. Again, it's just an extra set of eyes and ears to accompany you up, given support crews will also be going up that route. And it's a narrow dirt road. So it's just, again, it's a safety measure. So pacer after 8:30 on the Friday evening. When you go up Big Jack, which is much earlier in the day, the pacer can be with you. Similarly, Blocker, which will be at night, and also the Summit Path. The Summit Path, we find most runners take their entire support crews with them. They can do that, so they can all act as effectively as pacers, um, only on the Summit Path section. So other than that, it's one pacer per runner only. Now, if you wish to swap paces, you are able to do that, but you can only ever have one pacer at one time. The pacers have to abide by the same rules as the runners and have the same mandatory gear. So, for example, if the pacer joins you at 8:30 on the Friday night and you're at the 106K or stage or past there, they also have to have a vest. They also have to have a rear flashing light. They also have to have a head torch. They have to have everything that you have on you as mandatory gear. Similarly, going to the summit. No physical assistance. So by that, there's no someone's really struggling and you're going to put your arm around them and help haul them up a hill. Those things are just not on. The runner has to make the whole route under their own steam. However, there is one small plus, which is paces can act as mules for your runners. So carry food. If they want to carry an extra jacket for them, take the jacket from them and carry it. Carry the water for them. You can do that. So a pacer can mule. All right. Similarly, the pacer has to have the rear flashing light, worn and visible at all times, and please do periodically check them. We ask your support crews to do that because occasionally they do go flat. High vis vest, similarly, as mentioned, must be worn after checkpoint 4 onwards to the finish. So you get the sense of really what we're looking for here is the runner takes accountability for their safety. The pacer has to match that with all their right equipment and go with it. Uh, and again, move to single file when traffic approaches. And what we tend to find is the pacer is the one who moves into a single file and lets the runner keep on their same trajectory.
So support crew, mentioned it earlier, but it's really, really important they know, they've read, they understand, and they adhere to the ratios. There's 8 checkpoints. So one of the duties of the crew chief is to firstly just make sure that they're part of the Coast To Kosci WhatsApp group for crew chiefs. And then when the runner comes through each of these checkpoints, they have to put in the WhatsApp group the runner's full name, the race number, checkpoint location, and then the time of passing through. So checkpoints, get one at Toowoomba, second at Rocky Hall, third one is Cathcart. And you can see some of these actually just add up with the actual the cut-off times as well. We'll get number 4 at Gunning Rack, and then 5 at Dalgety, 6 at Jindabyne, 7 at Perisher, 8 at Charlotte Pass. Greg, have we got that right there? Just clarifying, Dalgety Memorial Hall, is it Dalgety Bridge?
No, the checkpoint, Mickey, is Dalgety Memorial Hall. However, the runner must, at the cutoff time, is at Dalgety Bridge. For those who haven't been to the lovely hamlet of Dalgety before, which is about 10 houses, a caravan park, a pub, and the Dalgety Bridge over the Snowy River. The Dalgety Bridge is about 200 meters past the hall towards Jindabyne. So the cutoff point is that bridge. So you can go into the hall, but you need to be out of the hall and over the bridge by the cutoff time. It's to stop people just getting through to Dalgety Hall and then resting there for ages and then eventually pulling out later and stopping time.
It really is an important clarification, yeah. So just be really aware of that. And the last thing is runners may only be supported by one support vehicle at a time. Greg, you want to take the second part of this, please? Oh, the
Yeah,
I'd like to
thanks, Mickey. I might just before I do that, I just had I'll just respond to a couple of questions in the chat. Someone asked, can we switch paces through the race? You can switch paces throughout the race, but you can only have one pacer at any given time. All right. Do you actually require a pacer? Yes, it's a safety measure. We want you to have a pacer. All right. Uh, I think one of the hard parts is once you've experienced the event, you'll get it and you'll understand it. It's very important. It's a safety measure. Roads are not closed. We're not on trails other than the first 4 kilometers. You're on bitumen roads. And to ensure safety, we want a pacer with you, given most runners will have been going at least 30 plus hours. All right. You cannot share paces between runners. All right. So if there are two people, and by that I mean if there are two people, two runners together, you cannot have one pacer. Each runner must have a pacer. Okay. Also confirming, yes, the vest has to be compliant to Australian standards. You can have a change in crew chief. There's a question is, can we change crew chiefs? Yes, you can. The considerations around that is you need to advise race officials if and when you change a crew chief. All right. And secondly, and this is one which often creates a challenge for the crew, we will have one number as a contact in the WhatsApp group as crew chief. So if you swap crew chiefs, you need to sort out your own communication and how you manage mobile phones. All right. Importantly, for each support crew, please know the route. We find almost every year someone misses the Cathcart turn from Cathcart through to Black Lake Road. Don't know how. It's extremely signposted. It's a few K past Cathcart. One person misses it every year because their crews aren't guiding them or paying attention, or the crews will be asking us, how far to the next checkpoint, or where do we turn? You're supposed to be experienced runners. That's why we also ask for qualifying criteria. Please take responsibility, know the route, make sure your support crews know the route. Um, Extremely important, 40 kilometers only on the race route. The first 100K, most of it is dirt road. It's to stop spraying rocks. And also bear in mind, if you're leapfrogging 5K ahead of your runner and your runner's running, I don't know, 5, 6K pace, you don't need to be going at 100 kilometers an hour. It's a condition of our approvals that all vehicles have to travel at 40 kilometers an hour and must have hazard lights on at all times. Okay. A side aspect of that is you need to manage your car battery life. All right. You cannot meet up with your runner until checkpoint 1 at 24 kilometers. The reason for that, there's a large amount of traffic in the morning going from Toowoomba through to Eden, which is the nearest local town. There's a lot of traffic, and you'll see vehicles moving along there at speed. And in the first hour or two, there shouldn't be a lot of need for fuel and nutrition. Do not stop or park under trees, in front of driveways, or on Toowoomba Road, up Big Jack, or on the ascent of Baloka Hill. The reasons for that, there are still issues with trees falling from the floods from a year or two, bushfires from the year or two before that, where there's still a lot of structural weaknesses with things. And the clear advice to us from all the councils is when you park on the side of the road, do not park under trees. Okay. Do not park in front of driveways, a farm access gate. I know it's tough and there doesn't seem to be people around, but it's surprising how often a farmer decides he wants to go and do his access gate and there's a vehicle parked in front of it. Toowoomba Road is the first 20K. Do not stop on that road. There are very few places to stop. And when you do arrive at Toowoomba, we want you to go past the checkpoint and park. Up Big Jack, goes without saying, it's a narrow dirt road, 2 lanes in some sections, 1.5 to 1 in others. You just simply cannot park. Similarly on Baloka Hill, it's a narrow bitumen road with traffic going at speed to and from Jindabyne. You cannot park there. There is great parking at the top of it though. After checkpoint 1, travel in a leapfrog manner with their runner, about 5K intervals. There's a reason for that, so that A, you're able to keep an eye on your runner, but also you're not alongside them all the time. All right. We want the runner to do this under their own steam, but you as support crew are there to help them. Please drive ahead. We're not expecting it to be exactly 5Ks. Most people do a roughly 5Ks to 6Ks off the speedo. That's about fine. All right. But do leapfrog ahead. All right. If you have, for some reason, safety concerns at night, all right. Particularly for our female runners, if you have any concerns, we're very open to reducing that distance. The key thing is we want you to be safe and we want you to feel safe. Okay. And again, do take plenty of care driving up Big Jack Mountain Road. Once you've driven up it, you'll understand. Other things that we want the support crew to do: take responsibility for the runner's tracker. If we find that it's going flat, let us know. We will come and replace it as soon as we can. Um, Similarly, also the reflashing light, keep an eye on it. When you're handing off food or drinks, please do it on the right-hand side of the road. We want you to park your vehicle, get out, and go across to your runner. You are in a much better position as support crew to be able to look left and right at traffic than the runner who is often continuing to run. Um, you can't run alongside your runner for more than a very short distance. So you want to move across the road to them, accompany them while you give them a drink, make sure they're okay. That is fine, but you're not expected to be running with them. We do not want you running with them. Okay.
And there's a question in the actual chat, Greg. Can our support crew assist us with nutrition at any point between the checkpoints? Yep, they can.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, again, it's an awful long way between checkpoints, guys. Um, uh, so from that point, yes. We probably should just also make sure it's very clear for all runners at this point. Really, nutrition, guys, is your accountability. So at Toowoomba, which is at the 24K mark, the local public school puts on a breakfast. All right, bacon, egg rolls, all those great things, as a fundraiser for support crews, etc., coming through. All right. The next place where there is food available is at the Cathcart General Store, which is at the 70K mark. Okay. The next place after that is at Dalgety Hall, where we have soup. We do have soups, etc., available because it's at night and it's cold, but they're predominantly for the support crews. So it's extremely important that runners are taking accountability, and similarly with support crews, for your own food and food, nutrition, and hydration as well. Okay. No assistance from a moving vehicle. No handoffs from a moving vehicle, guys. Simple fact is just park, wait for your runner to come through, make sure they're okay, give them what they need, let them go. We do not want handoffs to running vehicles, either with drinks or empty drink bottles. And a reminder, crews can carry the runner's mandatory gear on the summit path from Charlotte Pass to Kosciuszko and return. Other jobs for the support crew: should there be medical issues and or the runner needs to retire, preferably this occurs via the crew chief WhatsApp group. We also have access directly to our medical first aid staff. If your runner requires medical assistance, please note the time. If they retire, also the time and distance, and preferably go ahead to the next checkpoint. Cooma Hospital and Bega Hospitals are the nearest hospitals, and they are on standby. We will go into first aid and other things in one of the latter webinars, but what is important to note, they are there really for serious requirements as first responders. They're not necessarily there to pop a blister for you. Your support crew should be taking care of those sorts of things for you, okay? It's just been put in the chat by Ellen that Cathcart is cash only. Yes, it is. The Toowoomba Breakfast Barbecue is cash only. It's mostly because either FPOS costs and the network coverage is a bit patchy. All right. So cash is king in these regions, let me assure you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Mick.
There was another couple of questions in the chat. When will the WhatsApp group be created? So normally we leave that to the Monday of the week before the race. And then we try and finalise it on the Wednesday night. So yeah, start of the week it gets created, and then we try to finalise it on the the Wednesday. And then somebody's asked if we have four potential pacers between two runners, can any pacer run with either? Let's see what it says. With either. I'm not too sure what you mean there, but basically, your pacers are for you and for you only. You cannot share pacers, and you should only really have one pacer at any point in time, aside from the summit path. So going up to Kosciuszko and coming back down.
Okay. A couple of other elements, just flagging, and thanks, John, for the nudges. We will go into some other things in some of the other webinars, but we do encourage you to very clearly manage your car battery life. We do have two or three vehicles usually run their batteries flat during the evening, and we need to jump start either for our other support crews or race officials. Please manage your car batteries during the day. And if you do have any concerns on the trackers, do let us know, and we will look to replace them. We have a number of spares. We don't have an infinite number, but we'll look to do that.
Just going to, in the interest of time, just race through these, but basically, the race officials have the authority to do the same as the race directors throughout the race. So they can whisk you off the track, they can officiate over you crossing the road. So basically, we give them the same authority. So please, respect that going forward. But basically, there's two main roads that we have to cross: the Princess Highway at the very start, and then on the Monaro Highway at the 81.6 kilometre mark. So you'll see race officials there. Another kind of area where it's important, you kind of depending on the time of day you come through there, but at the bottom of Jindabyne, at the junction of Barry Way and Kosciuszko Road, sometimes that can be pretty hairy, depending on the time of the day. So we just ask for the extra care to be taken there, and based on that, we actually stage a race official there. Only crew chiefs. So again, coming back to the point about, if you want to change your crew chief, it does become important you actually swap phones so that the phone number doesn't change. But we only ask the crew chiefs, they're the only people that are going to appear on the WhatsApp group. And then, as a few people might have experienced, having done the race before, sometimes we're at the mercy of the weather. Well, not sometimes, all the time we're at the mercy of the weather. But sometimes what happens is it's a wee bit unkind to us on the mountain, and we've had to declare inclement weather finishes. And then just lack of compliance with race rules, with yourself, support crew. It can lead to time penalties being served. It can lead to multiple times penalties being served. It can lead to disqualification. No appeals and no process will be entered into. So we're really strict around that.
Okay. We've got two more. We'll go to general Q&A, knowing we've had a few already in the chat, but we've got two webinars next week around runner considerations, and then one in a further 2 weeks after that as well, which will be on further into support crews and also some considerations around first aid with that as well. And as we said, we recommend with your support crew, while it's great to have family and friends along, we really encourage you to have people who've got good skills who can get you out of holes physically and mentally when you get into those. Okay. As we thank you, as we go to Q&A, one element, there's a question around can there be a second crew vehicle, please? Sorry, can there be a second crew vehicle? Yes, there can be. However, there can only ever be one active crew vehicle at the one time responsible for the runner. If there is to be a handover of vehicles that is to occur to a checkpoint, and the race officials need to be advised about that. Again, this gets back to considerations around approvals and limiting the number of vehicles on the road servicing runners. And if there is a requirement in the rules that you only have one vehicle, that's how it is. We don't care that, well, you just pulled up for 10 minutes to help them and massage or do something. It doesn't work that way. You can only swap vehicles, swap your actual crews at a checkpoint, and that needs to be with full visibility to officials or approval from officials. If you are using a second vehicle live out on the race, you have an unfair advantage against everyone else who is only using one. Okay. Other questions, guys? And we appreciate we've gone through a lot, and we're trying to not make it doom and gloom and all those sorts of things. We want you to have a good time, but a lot of that is about making sure that you're set up, and good to go, and understand what you're about to get into, particularly given we have such a really strong contingent of very first timers in the event.
Could I just ask a question? We've got yellow flashing lights that run off a battery on top of an AMROC. Can that be used instead of hazard lights?
Yes, as long as it's clear that you're not an emergency services vehicle, that's okay.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you.
Any other questions, guys? So what we'll do after this is we'll publish the recording of it, and we'll provide you with the presentation. So those people that are feeling a little bit bereft, that they don't have artificial intelligence going over their notes, then they can refer to that.
That's so good. I'll have a look at your question, Emma Rose, and come back to you, okay, for you. Again, we encourage you to reach out to us if you have questions and those sorts of things. Happy to work things through with you. We want you, Mickey and I want you to have a good time at the race. We want your support crews to have a good time at the race. We want you to be safe with that. Remember, for our approvals, we have to go through a number of councils, police, traffic committees, a number of national parks, a number of different organisations that all come with their own rules, but it all links back to predominantly ensuring consistency across the field for everybody, but most importantly, runner safety. It's just we've got to have this stuff in place. That's all, and appreciate there's a lot to get through there, but we appreciate your attention. Anything else, Mickey?
No, I think on that note, we're good. We've probably detained everybody a little bit longer than necessary, but thanks everybody for tuning in, and we'll hopefully see you next weekend, or next Monday, sorry.
Just a quick question. Next Monday, there's probably a couple of people in this race that'll actually be in New Zealand for a 6-day race that obviously won't be able to attend due to the 6-day race. Will there be a recording that'll be shared for those people to go back and view?
Most definitely, Dale.
Okay, thank you.
Good luck with the race.
Thank you very much.
All right, on that note, thanks everyone. See you next
take
week.
care.
Brilliant. Thanks, guys.
Thanks all.
Thanks,
Have a great
guys.
night.
Cheers.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.